Hail, Reckoners, and welcome back. Today's indie game is Arcane Intern. Unpaid. You know, the best kind of intern. This is a game... I don't know what kind of game it is. I think it's an interactive story type game. It's for the interactive fiction competition, which seems right up my alley. So let's get no money. This is my first application. I will apply. This is your 7th interview this week. The first 2 were for editorial positions. The next 2, book marketing. Internships number 5 and number 6 were design and publicity. The ad for this one read, Arcane Intern needed. Whatever that's supposed to mean. Like all the others, it's unpaid. But you're the one who wanted to go into book publishing, and that means internships. At the very least, this company has a nice waiting room. Click that one. It's 10 minutes into your interview. Good thing you were early. There's a large plaque on the wall reading, Presentatio Publishers, along with some weird symbols. The rest of the waiting room looks like it was lifted from a brochure, plastic plants and all. The receptionist already signed you in. She now sits behind an ornate wooden desk, flipping through a ridiculously large book. Behind her, a closed door reads HR. Next to your seat is a basket full of magazines and your bag. Look at the bag one. That's weird. There's a text from your roommate, and a voicemail from your dad, but your phone hasn't rung at all since you got here. Maybe they were muffled back under the weight of Rebecca Butler and the Sphinx's ink. It's the 13th in this series and sized to match. No. Oh wow, I didn't know this was going to be choose from adventure. This is crazy. Let's go with, the weird symbols. Sinuous curves and slashing lines from a border around the plaque on the wall. They waver slightly and you look away. It's not like they're important, and that plant in the corner looks much more interesting. It was the name that drew you to the company despite the less than descriptive job posting. It shares a name with the magical school in the Rebecca Butler series. Any company that's a fan of those is somewhere you're interested in working in. It's no understatement to say that the Rebecca Butler books changed your life. They swept in when you were just a kid and carried you away into a world of magic, mystery, and adventure that you feel you never really left. You want to bring that magic to other people too. That's why you're here, waiting for this interview. Oh, I think the first one's probably going to be story, and the last one's probably going to be the progression. So I'm going to read all of these, I guess. It's a good thing you left early, because this building was much harder to find than you imagined. It didn't come up on any map search, and they didn't even have a website. You had to look for the building at the corner and then walk down the street in order to even find it at all. But then again, publishing houses aren't stores, so maybe Presentatio is worried about people storming the place for unreleased books. It happened with the last Rebecca Butler book, so maybe they got worried. Let's try the receptionist. The receptionist is engrossed in a giant leather-bound book. Bothering her seems rude when she's studying such a difficult book. It has to be, since the letters wobble strangely whenever you look at them, so you don't. That was everything. Oh, magazines. The magazines are 20 years out of date. Nothing like an in-depth interview about that boy band Five to kill the time. They'll always be a thing, the magazine claims. That is a bold claim. What about my roommate? Bringing home BBQ for dinner. Pick up some napkins, will ya? You smile. You won the fucking lottery when you got Taylor for a roommate. You were skeptical at first. She's got tons of tattoos and terrible taste in music, but you guys click really well. It helps that her tattoo artist gig actually pays, and she doesn't hold the disparity against you. That is nice. Back to the bag. Father, a voicemail from your dad is very rarely something to look forward to. It's all subtle barbs and hints to come back home and join the family business. He knows the money your grandma left you won't last much longer, but it'll take more than one guilt trip to make you give up. Hear, hear. It's no understatement to say that the Rebecca Butler book... I see. Read them all, so progress. It is time for your interview. The receptionist doesn't even look up from her giant book. She just calls your name and nods back. The door to the office behind her is open now. Punctual, that's a good sign. The hiring manager has a voice like a chasm, and eyes like them too. He sits behind a desk with no computer, and stands to shake your hand. Names are traded. Yours must not have been worth the trade, because his name slips to your mind immediately. I like that turn of phrase. Let's not waste any time and begin with the important questions. He steeples his fingers and frowns, considering the grave matter before you. You begin to sweat. What is your favorite color? Actually, I touched on this recently. My favorite color is highly context dependent. Like, if it's a color to be worn, then it's probably gonna be blue light green or black. I'd go with blue probably. If it's for something maybe a little more graphic designy, clearly I'm a big fan of red. If you look at my thumbnails, I like red for that sort of stuff. I don't know why. I'm not a huge fan of yellow, except if I'm going for like a construction worker theme maybe. Purple is whatever. I don't know. So let's go with red, because we're Foehamner in this instance. Interesting. Where do you see yourself 500 years from now? I'm gonna go with dead. Ah, never gotten that answer before. You highly doubt that. How good are you at keeping secrets? I'm pretty good. Honest answer, I admire that. Just one more question. Do you believe in magic? You remember being 11 and burying yourself in fantasy books. It was so much better than the real world, even at that age. With the blind confidence only a child could have, you told your father you were going away to magic school. Magic isn't real. Magic isn't real. Magic isn't real. Fuck it. Magic isn't real, he said. Something he'd come to repeat over and over again. So the question remains, do you believe in magic? Well, how do you define magic? I'm gonna go with yes. The world might say otherwise, but you can feel it in your gut. Magic has to be real. The hiring manager's face twists into what might be a smile. You have a lot of faith in what you can't possibly know. He sounds terribly patronizing, and you're just about ready to leave this joke of an interview when he continues. But you'll do. If you want it, the position is yours. Okay, let's, sure, take it. His smile is an omen of what you're not sure, but it sends a shiver down your spine as he congratulates you. Now there will be some things to sign on Monday, but for today you'll get your entry key. He slides a length of chain across to you and grins. On the end there's a strange symbol. Go ahead, he says. Put it on. Keycards seem more efficient, but whatever. You put on the chain, feeling the metal symbol hot against your skin. Actually, now that you're wearing it, you can see it more clearly. It looks like an eye, stylized and twisted, but an eye nonetheless. You look back up to ask the hiring manager what it means, and you startle. His eyes are like chasms, but literally this time. They are pits of crushing blackness, so deep that even the light around his eyes struggles before being inevitably sucked in. He smiles again. Oh, and while you're here, it'd be best to believe in magic. He ushers you out before you can ask for any explanation, and once in the waiting room you feel like you might need 100 more. The strange symbols have coalesced in something legible, something bright and shining. It is still foreign, and the receptionist's book glows with an eerie light that you couldn't see before. There is so much you couldn't see before. The slate-grey tiles of the building outside now match the gargoyles perched upon the windows. Every so often, a house is marked with one of those symbols, and where before you would forget them, now they blaze in your memory. You stumble back to your shitty apartment, seeing less and less sigils as you go. Your roommate Taylor is already there. I'm going to not tell her. You keep it to yourself. It's too crazy, too far-fetched. She might have dragons tattooed up her arms, but the idea of real ones maybe existing just seems too far-fetched. Still, once you figure this out, it might be nice to tell her, once you actually know what the hell is going on. Intern to-do list. 1. Get coffee. 2. Restock storage room. 3. Making copies. Let's get the coffee. Not that we had a choice. That weekend, you reread all of the Rebecca Butler books in order to try and grapple with the fact that magic is real. It's real. And it's yours now. What you thought would be just another unpaid internship has given you access to a whole new world. It is a world because you've seen it. Buildings marked, books you've never saw in bookstores. Things that were hidden from your eyes before now seem to almost glow, as if their very existence has been highlighted. This is what your new job is going to be about. Magic. And you've never been more excited. But there doesn't seem to be anything magical about your cubicle. In fact, the cheap plastic desk burdened down by reams of paper looks even more mundane than anything you've seen before. There's an old computer there, so old that you wouldn't be surprised if magic was the only thing that kept it running. Overall, it looks like a shit workstation and not a magical place. Not even a magical intern place. The hiring manager just smiles as he leaves you there. Someone should come by soon to explain what they want you to do with these. I never got the coffee. Several offices extend past your cubicle and out into a winding hallway. Oh, okay, let's check this out. All the offices have their doors tightly shut, but even then you can see sparks of light flickering through the cracks below a few of the doors. Alba Dubois, CEO. Olivia Singh, head editor, and Scott Marketing, blah blah blah. Something unrenderable by my computer as janitor. The last two are the only doors with lights. Oh, Talib Hoth is human and non-human resources. You wonder why Taleb's name was the only one that slipped your mind when you don't even know how to start saying the janitor's name. On your desk, the towers of paper lean on the ancient computer screen, and does it even work? Even magical companies have finances, and their papers are just as esoteric. Still, some of the titles are interesting. So you've married a mage. Simple hexes for home safety. 50 stupid, easy spell sigils. Lots of alliteration, if nothing else. Oh, back to the desk. A door in the hallway opens, and a silvery voice beckons. The open door belongs to Nigel Scott, and he waves you into the office. It looks like any other office, except for the abomination of a computer that seems to have been transported here from the 90s. Nigel himself looks normal, bald head, smooth voice, eyes that don't look like black holes. Like any other marketing director, after the hiring manager, you expected something a bit more bizarre. But then he makes up for his lack of strangeness with rudeness. Can't imagine what you're thinking taking on an outsider. What they were thinking, sorry. But you're what we've got now, so we might as well make the best of it. Later today, I want you putting in the old financial data on your desk into that computer thing. Accountant keeps raving about it, but for now, we'll give you an easy task. Something even you can handle. Go get the office some coffee. Okay, of course, sir, but, go away. Of course, sir, what would you like? He smiles, impressed by your fake-as-hell manners. Draconian latte with hazelnut. They definitely do not serve that at Starbucks. I keep uncontracting these words, I don't know why. Ask where you can get a draconian latte. You've seen people look at gum stuck at the bottom of their shoe with more regard than the way Nigel's looking at you now. The other world, magical dimension that exists in tandem to our own, home of all magical creatures. He stops and makes an exasperated noise. Why am I bothering explaining this to you? Just go to the basement and get us all our coffee. And quickly! The hallway extends far down to the right, farther than the building would seem to allow from the outside. At least all of the doors are labeled, each with their own bronze plaque and arcane symbols. I obviously quite care about the janitor. The door is locked. The light seems to flicker inside as a friendly voice says, "Oh, the new intern. I figured you'd send you on a coffee run soon. Pumpkin spice latte for me if you don't mind." The door never opens. The lights never stop. Like Willy Wonka. Hi, Alba Dubois. You knock and knock and knock again. No answer comes. She must not be in today. Olivia Singh, head editor. Ms. Singh ushers you in with terse words as she brandishes a red pen over paper. The red ink struggles to place itself onto the pages. A large masala latte. Just leave it on the desk when you get back. She continues her struggle to correct the text in front of her. Despite your curiosity at what it might have said, you leave the office. That ink didn't look like it would stay put on the page for long. Interesting. Nigel? Oh yeah, draconian latte. Sorry. Taleb Hoth. You knock, and a familiar female voice tells you to come in. You do, and find yourself in the waiting room from your interview. But how? The interview had happened on the first floor, and the offices were on the third floor. You didn't go down any stairs or anything. The receptionist, a Ms. Tran, her name plaque reads now, is at the desk, grinning smugly. Let us ask her about her coffee order. Well, aren't you sweet? The last intern didn't even bother asking me. Went straight to Mr. Hoth. She taps her fingers idly against the same giant book she had before. The symbols look familiar and foreign all at once. I'll have a double-shot espresso. Espresso. I'll just order that. Whatever, man. Honestly, I wouldn't have caught that if this hadn't been the first option. Let's ask her where the hiring manager is, because why not? He's busy at the moment, but I know his order, a Turkish coffee. They'll be able to give it to you to go. Okay, back to the hallway. I am not to the basement! The door opens, a set of stairs leading down into a swirling pit. Oddly enough, it does smell like coffee. Okay. I descend! Walking through the vortex feels like walking through an automatic car wash. Something that feels wet, but isn't, splashes against your face, only to be swept away by a fearsome wind. You end up on the other side, feeling pretty clean, even though your hair is a mess. Oh my, that's a good feat, that's a good touch. The portal drops you off directly in front of an otherworld coffee shop called Caffeine Horde. Even though everything else looks the same, you can tell you aren't in your world from two main clues. Firstly, the air feels different here, as if it's spiced with clove and hard to breathe. The second is that a gigantic dragon's tail curves from out of the back of the store, and you're sure you didn't see any of those walking around yesterday. A crimson dragon sits upon a hoard of coffee beans, filling the store with a nutty scent of roasting beans. From his fiery farts, I guess? The queue snakes through the store, all leading towards him. In the corner, a hag wearing wide-brim glasses, sips from a small steaming cauldron. She keeps shooting looks at you. Meanwhile, a group of normal-looking people huddled over a book near the entrance keeps shooting you dirty looks. You go up to one of them, or you could get in line and get this over with. I'm the Crimson Dragon. The dragon looks exactly like how you imagined it to look when you first read Rebecca Butler and the Scales of Destiny. Smoke rises from his nostrils, obscuring its glinting cat-like eyes. You notice it sorting the beans with razor-sharp claws and dropping them into a grinder. They have the same kind that you used during your short stint as a Starbucks employee. I want to know the witch. Her nose is dotted with some of the largest warts you've ever seen, but at the same time, her face would look incomplete without them. Being a temp doesn't give you an excuse to stare, she smirks. That revealing her pointed teeth. Ask her, how do you know I'm an intern? She cackles. One of her warts has a glittering piercing through it. It's your sigil, she says, gesturing to the sigil you were given when you started. Anyone wearing one of those never stays forever. You want to ask more, but the dragon rumbles a name and she goes to get her coffee. Okay, youths, let's hash this out. Why are you staring at me? Among the gremlins and hags, manticores and dragons, humans stand out like a sore thumb. These particular humans stand out more than most thanks to the way they glare at you. Yo, what's your problem? You lift your chin, defiant. They seem utterly unimpressed. Your kind isn't wanted here, so just run on back to out the portal. You can't hide the confusion on your face. Aren't they human too? And one of them scoffs. Nah, magic no entry. No magic no entry. Just cause you got yourself a viewing sigil doesn't mean you belong. Oh, they think you are mundane, like the regular people in the Rebecca Butler series. Screw them! You know you belong here. Seems like magicians still understand rude gestures because they splutter and huff. You turn before they recover and say anything else. Back to the cafe. Let's get this over with. You get in line behind what looks like a swamp creature and a werewolf. The cashier, a pale young girl, takes orders quickly and efficiently. When you get to the front, she smiles at you, flashing sharp fangs. You force yourself to step back and you place your order. Oh, you must be the new intern at the Presantadio. It was about time they got a fresh one. You just nod as she puts in your order and nods you aside. Well, let's pay now, I guess? She grins, fangs flashing in the dim cafe light. The company handled it, but if you'd like to pay more... You shake your head vehemently and step aside to wait for your order. A few minutes later, the dragon rumbles a name you vaguely recognize as yours, and you pick up the tray of colorfully steaming beverages. They'll get cold if you loiter, so you head back out, away from the caffeine horde and all its denizens. Despite the experience, you can't help but feel lonely once you return. The air is lighter. A weight you didn't know had pressed into your lungs is gone. Just being back in the real world makes you feel more solid, more stable, and yet something has still been torn from you. Still, you aren't bleeding, no matter the lack you feel. You finish your job. You deliver all the coffees. Nigel doesn't smile or thank you at all when you arrive with a perfectly warm draconian latte. You didn't expect him to, but it still feels like an extra tear within you. You trudge back to your desk. You toy with your golden amulet, your key into that underworld, all through work as you copy numbers from paper onto an ancient spreadsheet. If it weren't for the tinge of sulfur of dragon's breath still clinging to you, you'd think it was all a dream. Even Taylor's excellent quesadilla dinner couldn't perk you up. Not when she is blind to this world and you still feel so separate from it. Falling asleep is hard, but you manage, feeling the warm sigil under your fingers. Check coffee. Boom! Task 2, restock the storage room. I think we're gonna do that next time. So thanks for watching. I'm gonna finish this game out. It's gonna be short. But before I do any other games from this game jam, these interactive story types, please leave any thoughts, comments, likes, or whatever you want, cause I have a blast playing these and, reading them and voice acting them. I don't know if it translates well to a viewing medium because there's, basically zero gameplay. Like, I can't even really make decisions. I can choose to basically read or not read more or less world building material. So any input you have, like even something like don't play these kinds of games anymore, that's awesome. Please just let me know. I'm just curious. If you like it, don't like it, meh about it, whatever. But thanks for watching. There'll be 2 more parts. Because it's experimental, I will try to do the other 2 parts, not this part probably, but the other 2 parts with an extra video that day. So if you don't like this, you can still get a nice dose of Foehamner. Signature sign off.